Some players fight for trophies. Some fight for headlines. Marcus Rashford fought for something bigger. Before the awards, before the criticism, before the debates about form, there was a boy in Manchester who knew what it meant to go without. Football was his escape, but it would later become his platform. Because when the world stopped during lockdown, he just think about his career. He thought about children. He thought about families. He thought about the struggle he once lived. This isn't just a story about goals at Manchester United. It asks about responsibility. It asks about pressure. It asks about what happens when a footballer chooses to stand for something more. From academy debut, to national hero, to being questioned, doubted, and tested. This is not just about talent. This is about character. This is the story of Marcus Rashford. Opportunities in football don't always come when you expect them. Sometimes, they come when everything around you is falling apart. That's exactly what happened to Marcus Rashford. At the time, Rashford was just another academy player at Manchester United. Talented, yes, but still waiting, still learning, still watching the first team from a distance. Then suddenly, injuries hit the squad. Players started dropping out. And just like that, the door opened. The match was in the UEFA Europa League. A young player stepping into a big stage. Nerves would have been normal. Pressure would have been expected. But Rashford didn't look nervous. He looked ready. On that night, he didn't just play. He scored. Not once, twice. The stadium erupted. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. A teenager, barely known outside the academy, suddenly announcing himself to the football world. In one night, everything changed. Rashford was no longer just a prospect. He was a symbol of hope for Manchester United fans. But football has a way of testing young players quickly, because after the debut comes the expectation. After that unforgettable debut, everything moved fast for Marcus Rashford. What started as an emergency call-up suddenly became something bigger. He was not just filling a gap anymore. He was becoming important. Fans loved his energy, his direct running, his fearless shooting, his willingness to attack defenders without hesitation. Rashford played like someone who had nothing to lose. And for a while, everything seemed to go right. Goals started coming. Big performances followed. And soon he was wearing the shirt not just as a young player, but as one of the faces of the team. His performances did not go unnoticed. Soon he was called up to represent England national football team. Another stage, another level of pressure. But Rashford kept pushing forward. Every season brought new expectations. Score more goals, lead the attack, carry the club forward. But football is not always a straight line upward. Injuries came. Criticism followed. Some fans questioned his consistency. Others wondered if he could truly become the superstar many expected. For the first time in his career, Rashford had something to prove again, even during difficult moments. One thing remained clear. Rashford's talent was undeniable. Across Europe, clubs were always watching, because players with his speed, intelligence, and experience at the highest level rarely stay unnoticed forever. And while his story at Manchester United was still being written, the football world quietly wondered what the next chapter might look like. Football careers are usually judged by goals, but Marcus Rashford was beginning to be judged by something bigger: responsibility. While playing for Manchester United, Rashford started using his platform for something unusual in football. He spoke about child hunger, about families struggling to feed their children, about problems many people prefer to ignore. For Rashford, this wasn't politics. It was personal. During lockdown in the UK, schools closed. For many children, that meant losing access to free school meals. Rashford couldn't ignore it. He wrote letters. He pushed the government. He spoke publicly. And eventually, change happened. Millions of children received support. Suddenly, Rashford wasn't just a footballer. He was a symbol. But being admired off the pitch brings another challenge. Expectations become heavier. Every performance is analyzed. Every mistake is magnified. When Rashford struggled with form or injuries, critics became louder. Some forgot the impact he was making away from football. Others questioned whether he could still reach the highest level. Careers are rarely simple. Sometimes a player needs a new challenge, a new environment, a new chapter. And as time passed, whispers began to grow across Europe. Big clubs were watching closely, because players who combine talent, intelligence, and influence rarely stay in one place forever. And somewhere in Spain, one of the biggest clubs in the world was paying attention. Football careers are never predictable. One moment you are the future of a club. The next, you are searching for a new direction. For Marcus Rashford, the journey had already seen incredible highs at Manchester United. But football always moves forward. And sometimes, a player needs a new stage. Years of pressure, injuries, moments of brilliance followed by difficult periods. Rashford had carried expectations for a long time. Fans debated his future. Pundits questioned where his career would go next. But across Europe, top clubs still saw something valuable. Experience, speed, big match mentality. Then came the moment many didn't expect. A chance to step into a completely different football culture. A chance to test himself again at the highest level. One of the biggest clubs in football opened the door. FC Barcelona. For Rashford, it wasn't just a transfer. It was a reset. A new challenge. A chance to prove that his story wasn't finished. Playing for Barcelona means something different. The expectations are global. The style is demanding. The spotlight is constant. But Rashford had faced pressure before, and every chapter of his career had taught him one thing. Adaptation is survival. Manchester made him known. His voice made him respected. Now Barcelona could redefine him. Because sometimes, the most important part of a career is not how it begins, but how it evolves. Some players are remembered for goals. Some are remembered for trophies. Marcus Rashford will be remembered for impact. From a young academy player fighting for a chance at Manchester United, to scoring on his debut and becoming one of the club's most recognizable faces. His journey was never simple. There were moments of brilliance, moments of doubt, moments when the pressure felt heavier than the applause. But Rashford's story was never only about football. While the world watched his performances on the pitch, millions of families saw something else. A footballer who refused to ignore the struggles of others. A voice that reminded people that influence can be used for more than fame. And when the time came for a new chapter, he didn't hide from the challenge. He stepped into the global spotlight of FC Barcelona, not just as a footballer searching for form, but as a man who had already proven that success is about more than trophies. Because in the end, speed fades, form changes, the character lasts forever. Marcus Rashford didn't just build a football career. He built a legacy of purpose. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like, subscribe for more deep football journeys, and tell me in the comments, which player should we break down next? Because the next story might inspire even more. See you in the next chapter.